Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. This video is going to be about something that Zoros said in one of the latest chapters. It is not the last chapter, but the chapter before. It's like, they're all on, like, the Sunny, and they're talking about what happened during the reverie. They're talking about Vivi's being kidnapped, then they're talking about how Vivi's dad died, and then, they're talking about Sabo too, and how Sabo has been captured or something. Yeah, and Zoro says, no, not captured. Vivi's been captured, but then they're talking about how Luffy's talking to Zoro, and Zoro says something of this line. Remember what you said about Ace, and how Luffy always said that Ace could handle himself. Ace could do this. Ace could do that. You know, Ace would be fine. But I feel like Ace is a bad example because Ace died. And Ace got captured and then murdered. And then they all saw how that destroyed Luffy. So why would Luffy want that to happen to his brother? And why wouldn't... That would make me think that Luffy would go immediately. Like, I know Zoro is trying to, like, be like, yo, there's no reason to do this. We've come so far. We've done all this stuff. We don't need to turn around and do this. And it's like, there's no reason to do this. But, like, if it was somebody Zoro cared about, like, as much as Luffy did, which I think Zoro did care for Vivi, but... And didn't really... Well, he met Sabo, but, like... That's Luffy's brother, and Luffy has a special bond with him. So Luffy should go and try to save him. If he has to save him, he can't let what happened to Ace happen to Sabo. So if the government gets Sabo, Luffy needs to go save him, which I think is a possibility of happening. Like, I don't think that's out of the question for events that happens in the story. But, like, for Zoro to say that when he saw what happened to Ace, he witnessed that. Well, he didn't witness it, but, like, he read about it and how that destroyed Luffy. And the whole reason for the time skip happened because Ace died and Luffy wasn't there to save him. And then Zoro says something like that. It just doesn't make any sense, does it? Like, that is not a person I would use to represent that. Like, that's a bad example because he's already lost Sabo once in his life. He thought Sabo was dead for a very, very long time, which I think that was one of Oda's, like, biggest misses, was the reason Sabo didn't see this stuff. That shit was stupid, in my opinion. I don't know. But, like, if I was Luffy and I was in Luffy's position and I was that attached to my brother, there's nothing my crew could do to stop me. And I'm the captain, so they have to listen to me. So if the captain says, let's go do something, let's go save something, Luffy should turn around and get him. Like, Luffy also said that if Yamato, if Momonosuke, if Kirimon wanted to join their crew, they would turn around immediately and get them, which I believe would happen if they wanted to. But what about Vivi? If Vivi ever wants to join the crew, which I think Vivi's fine, to be completely honest, then Luffy should do the same thing. That is just what Luffy would do. And it is kind of like, I feel like it's an out-of-character line for Zoro to say that. Like, just, why Ace? Like, there's so many other people he could have used. Yes, Luffy had such a connection with Ace because Ace was technically his... Well, they weren't actually brothers, but they became brothers by sake. And Luffy... Imagine, in Luffy's head, and Luffy's heart, and Luffy's soul, Ace was his brother, and Sabo's his brother. So if there's something wrong with one of them, there's no way Luffy's going to stop, as I said before. And I think Zoro should have the same respect as everyone else on the crew. I love Zoro. He's my second favorite anime character of all time. But I don't think this was the right move. I think... I'm not the writer of the show, and I'm not trying to bash Oda. I just think this line doesn't make sense. And I do think there are some other criticisms I did have with like other parts in the series, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. I'm just gonna talk about this. Now, everyone else's reaction is very on brand, and like because they did this for Sanji, and yes, Sanji was an actual member of the crew, but like Luffy has the same bond for them as I think he had for Ace and has for you know, Sabo. And Luffy went into Big Mom's territory with, I think, some of the weaker members of the crew. Chopper, Carrot wasn't gonna do shit, even and Nami wasn't really gonna do anything. Now I think Nami's strong. I think she's a glass cannon. I don't think she gets the respect she deserves. I think she could beat Chopper in a fight, to be honest. Brook is, I don't know. I think Brook's stronger than people say he is, but I don't think I don't know. Brook's hard to judge. But he took them into a Yonko's territory to save one of their crewmates. What makes you think he wouldn't go to Mrijwa, the Holy Land, where all the Marines are who don't probably like Luffy, and it's on sight if they see Luffy? What would stop them? But I don't rate the Marines very high. I think Garp is the strongest Marine of all time. And there's nothing in my mind that would stop Luffy from going there. He doesn't give a fuck about who the opponent is. He just fought Kaido, one of the Yonko, and he won. And Luffy doesn't give a shit about who you are, what your position is, what if you're royalty, if you're common people, if you're a pirate, if you're a marine. As long as you're a good person, Luffy will be fine. And you haven't done terrible things, Luffy will be fine. Luffy is the best character at reading people. And he would go and fight Emu right now. Right now! If he has a reason to. Yes, they're so close to the One Piece, so Luffy can achieve one of his dreams, so he can achieve the other one. And yes, it would put a damper on their journey to Laugh Tale. And yes, this is probably not the smartest thing for them to do, but if there's a reason to do it, then Luffy would do it. And he would drag his crew with him. And you would get Usopp like, no! But also, you'd get like Nami doing the same thing and Chopper. They would all be terrified. But there's a reason they would do it. Luffy doesn't just do things out of revenge, really, ever. Like, his MO is not revenge. It's, I guess it is kind of revenge, because, like, you did this and I will avenge, but, like, Luffy is just built different. And for Zoro to not understand that, like, Ace is, like, the worst example he could have possibly used, because Ace is dead, and then I bet you in Luffy's mind, he thinks that he could have probably saved Ace. Now, do I think it would have been that different if Luffy would have been there? No, not really. I think they would still get captured and all that stuff would still go down. But, like, I think it would have meant more to Luffy. Like, I think it would have changed some things. And to have the fact that he did save Ace, to be fair. He saved Ace. Ace got himself killed, if you actually remember. He got him off the shackle. They were basically out. And then then Akainu started talking shit about fucking Whitebeard. And he turned around and got punched in the gut. Now, why is that relevant? Luffy did everything he could to save Ace. And I think he has finally been okay with that. But, like, there is something. Zoro bowed his head to the man that he wants to beat, the one and only man he wants to beat, to get stronger for his captain, because of that event, which happened because of Ace. And Zoro's a very prideful man. Very, very prideful. I don't think he'd bow his head to very many people. None at all. And he did that begging Mihawk to train him. Which I would love to see more of how, like, Mihawk trained him and, like, stuff like that. But I don't think we're ever really going to get that. And I'd love to see how the relationship is now. But, like, there is nothing that Zoro... it changed Zoro's mind, because Zoro, in my opinion, I think there's two people on the crew. Well, I think everyone on the crew, if they have, their words mean something to Luffy. Like, if Brooks said something serious to Luffy, Luffy would listen. I think that's obvious. But he respects certain people a little bit more, I think. And that's Zoro, Sanji, and Nami. I think their words have a little more weight. And I think he listens to them. Especially Zoro. Zoro, he would listen to him. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you guys in the next one.